Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I hope this message finds you doing well. This is your guy, Anthony Brinkley, the Maestro of Resilience, coming to you, asking you a simple question. Are you actually living to your potential? Are you living to your potential? So many people, you line up 10 people, I promise you, 9 of them will not be doing what they came to do. There are studies that show that most of us only use about 10% of our brain capacity. Most of us only use 10% of our ability to be imaginative. Most of us only use about 10% of our ability to be uniquely distinctive from anyone else that's ever walked this planet. Because what most people do, they will take opportunities to do what's already being done. They will take jobs because they could get that job. They will pursue vocations because those vocations were available to them. And although they may be doing things that appear to be successful, they're out of position. So my admonishment to you today as a point of reflection is ask yourself, have I done everything I need to do, or am I just actually existing in a world where I could actually be living? That's why you see highly successful and accomplished people. They walking around like there's a vacuum within their life. There's a void within their life. There's an emptiness because they're not doing what they came to do. So I'm going to give you this parable that I read in a good book, and it talked about a man who worked in a field for another man. And this man was working, he was toiling, he was making a living, but he went in the field, and one day he was digging, because that's what he normally did. He uprooted the land, he prepared the fallow ground to plant things. And as he was preparing by digging, he discovered a treasure that was in the land. And even though he saw this treasure, he thought about it like, wow, I've never seen anything of this immensity in regards to value. And what he did was, instead of putting it in his pocket and taking it, because he knew he didn't own it, he knew he couldn't take it even though he found it. And even though no one saw him, he had a level of integrity. See, if you want to walk in your calling, one of the most important primary things you have to have is integrity. So now his integrity told him he had to put the treasure back. He put it back. Then he buried it and told no one about this treasure. I'm talking about that small percentage that does what nobody else does. I'm talking about that great percentage of people who will walk this earth and never do what they came to do and live a life out of position, which leads to a lack of possession, which leads to a lack of respect, which leads to a lack of impact. But let me get back to my story. So the man took everything he owned after he put the treasure back in the ground. He accumulated, he worked hard. It took a minute, because remember, before you can get to the product that you're supposed to have in life, you have to go through your process. So the man knew he didn't have a great amount of money, so he doubled his efforts and worked and pulled everything he had, and he went to the man who owned the property and said, I want to buy this land from you. So the man sold him the land. And so when he sold him the land, he owned everything in the land, meaning that treasure that was beyond measure, that treasure was beyond anything that he could calculate. When he bought the land, he owned everything in the land. What point am I making to you? The first thing is, are you living to your potential? And then the question becomes, when you find that thing, because let me make this plain to you, the treasure you have is once you spend time to quiet your mind and talk to the Creator and quiet your mind and reflect on, am I living in my purpose or am I living in my comfort? When you quiet your mind, you will then determine, are you living the right way? And most people, the answer will be no. Then once you determine that you're not living the right way, are you willing to purchase the land so you can own the treasure? See, within you are gifts that nobody has in a quantity or calculation that you have. And living within you are talents that no one has in the way that you have. Within you are gifts and talents and a vision and a vector to get to that place to make other people's life better and your life purposeful. But are you willing to purchase the land to get what you're supposed to get. And how do you purchase the land? You purchase the land by putting down your device that you're listening to a bunch of garbage or watching a bunch of garbage that's wasting your most valuable resource, which is your time. When you purchase the land, that means you put down bad habits that serve you no value. That means you disassociate with people who don't help you walk your path. It means you might have to walk alone and handle the solitude of growth, development, and cultivation. So my word to you today is, it's time to sell. It's time to take everything you have and purchase the land so you can have access to the gifts, so you can have access to the new things that you can do to make your life significant in a way of purpose, in a way of impact, in a way of fulfillment. Are you living in your potential? And if you're not, get off your butt and do it. So I'm giving you all a challenge, a 90-day challenge right now. And that challenge goes thusly. Make a list of the things that you're supposed to do. What are you supposed to be eating right? What are you supposed to be doing to fill your spirit with things that appreciate, add value to your life? What are the things you're supposed to cut off that you need to cut off? For 90 days, put everything into what you're doing and see what happens. Then hit me back and let me know. But I'm telling you, I already know what it is. If you sell, if you take everything you have and buy the land, which is your life, your talent, you get access to your gifts by digging, by being focused, by being locked in. Your gifts will make room for you. And that's all I have to say to you today is, are you living in your potential? And if not, quiet your mind. Buy the land, own the treasures, and give your treasures away to help other people. Do me a favor, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Because there's so many people, maybe the person you're looking at in the mirror, that hasn't purchased the land. And that's why you living with lack. Not materially, but substantively from a fulfillment standpoint. No more of that. I love you. Stay in touch. Peace and blessings to you. You're going to think. Some of you gonna laugh, some of you gonna cry, but we're gonna get better before this is over. Understand this, there is no such thing as tomorrow. Tomorrow is aspirational, because when tomorrow gets here, it's gonna actually be today. So what are you doing today? What are we doing today as a collective body to make sure that we can make things better? Live your life.
A passionate Anthony Brinkley is a problem solver. He's an author and motivational speaker using his skills after decades in the military to teach people how to be resilient and take action.
The most valuable thing in your life is time. Every day in America, 7,000 people die. So 7,000 people that thought they were going to wake up today didn't. Anybody besides me never thought they'd be 30 years old? Put your hand up. I would get up and put my mask on. Hey, Brinkley, how you doing? I'm doing great. And that's why I come here to talk to you, to remind you that you're not what you went through.